Hi, this is Hiromi Dames, but you probably know me better as Tracy Van Horn, and you're listening to the FSF PopCast.
Drink almost came out my nose. I'm good.
The show that makes you realize just how screwed you were when you were kidnapped and had to be rescued by the last show that you watched or listened to. Sorry about that, guys.
Our show is brought to you by our charity sponsor, the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund, which supports the Wish Upon a Teen Foundation that helps out sick kids when they need it most. And just imagine the comfort you'll give Red Shirt crewman number 119. She'll know that when she puts on the red shirt and joins Hamster and Gretel in their battle with the Winks, that she didn't leave her family destitute and without hope, because the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund has her back, and what's left of her wings.
All right, guys, our guest today is an actress who's had roles both on screen and behind the microphone that have entertained you and many others along the way. You've seen or heard her in shows like Hannah Montana, Phineas and Ferb, Monsters at Work, Lego DC Superhero Girls. That's a mouthful to say if you try it really fast. Hamster and Gretel, and a whole bunch more. So let's all welcome Hiromi Dames to the FSF PopCast. Welcome to the show, Hiromi.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
See, I told you it sounds sarcastic no matter what I say in that voice. It'd be so sincere.
So excited. No, really, so excited.
It does not sound.
Do you ever just use that in drive-thrus? Because I totally would.
No, I
Telemarketers.
should, right?
Oh,
Go order
telemarketers.
Starbucks.
Like a really long, complicated order.
Yes.
Yeah.
Making sure that you specify that it has to be soy milk.
I would like a venti soy milk, but only half soy milk and only half a venti, not a grande. I want it half a venti, so fill up the venti halfway.
It would be great.
Show up with my cat and driving.
The likelihood of like the barista at Starbucks being the right age that they'd be like, Tracy, what?
Right?
what?
What if they weren't? They're just like, this really weird chick just rolled up.
Saying
That
her
would
coffee needs to breathe. What?
That would be hilarious.
All right, so Hiromi, what's become a little bit of a custom around these parts, because we are nerds, we like to start our interviews finding out the background or origin story, if you will, of our guest, the person sitting on the other side of the virtual table. And so tonight you are the hero of our story. So if you would, tell us about the origins of Hiromi Dames and what led you to becoming an actress.
Well, it all began in Japan, actually. I'm a Japanese superhero. Japanese superhero desu. My mom's Japanese. My dad's a Jersey Jew. He was a high school teacher on an army base in Japan, which is where he met my mom. And then I happened. So I was born in Japan on a naval base. Grew up there, did the whole army base local theater thing, moved to Seattle, and that's where. How much detail do you want?
Sure,
Like, do
you can
want
go
the-
into you can
as
go into
much
as
as
much
you wanna
detail as
share.
as much as you're comfortable in sharing. I mean, so what were your influences growing up? Where you saw somebody? Was it that you saw somebody, or you saw a certain movie or show or play, and you were like, "Man, that looks so cool! Wouldn't that be fun to do?" Or was it just you just one day went, "Yeah, that looks fun. Let's try that."
I think it was like every single thing I watched. Everything I watched, I would reenact. So, like, I would watch Sleeping Beauty, and because I had the blue blanket in my neighborhood, I would get to be Aurora and walk down and then pretend to touch the spinning needle and then fall over dramatically. I was also the blue fairy because I had the blue blanket.
So anything blue, you pretty much had on lockdown.
Oh yeah, for sure. So yeah, I could have been Beast, but
Well, you know.
isn't he blue? He's blue.
He is. Yeah, his secret's blue.
Okay, cool. And then I moved to Seattle, and I started doing theater there. I was 12 when I moved out there, and I just started calling theaters in the yellow pages. It's like, hey, I'm 12. My name's Hiromi. You have any auditions? And some of them were like, no, we're an AMC. That's not how this works. And some of them were like, yeah, come on down. So I auditioned for a dinner theater show in Seattle at Taproot Theater. And then halfway through, they handed me a paycheck. And I was like, oh, I didn't know I was getting paid for this. I just thought I was doing it for fun.
Nice.
Yeah. And then from there, I got my first agent who scouted me during the show. And then I was on a TV show for a little while. It was kind of local, kind of international. It was syndicated. It was a show in Seattle called Watch This with an exclamation point. And it was a kids' local news show, like a magazine news show. And I was a reporter. And I got nominated for an Emmy, local Emmy.
Nice.
Yeah, regional. Then I was on Nye The Science Guy at that point, which was my first television like union gig. Moved out to New York because I heard all actors move out to New York. And also the only thing I knew about like how to get into the biz officially was from watching Annie. And you know, they sing that whole song NYC, and so I'm like, oh, okay, I got to New York, that's where I go to become an actor. And then I got there and I was like, oh, this is all musical theater, and that is so not my thing, but I wanted it to be my thing, so I really attempted, stood in lots of lines at like 4 a.m. to try and sing 16 bars of something or other for casting directors, and I was just not as good at that as most other people in New York are. Moved out to LA, and about 3 years in is when I got the Hannah Montana audition.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And sadly, it took me longer than it should have to realize the AMC joke that you laid out just a minute ago.
No, it's okay. It wasn't that funny. It just was true.
Well,
I
no,
found it
I thought it was.
hilarious.
I thought it was funny, but I was like, oh, that's what she meant.
Yeah. I called every single theater. I just flipped a T and went down the list.
Yeah, honey, that's not what we do here. No.
Yeah, no.
Persistence is key, though. Like that's what is the saying that the squeaky wheel gets the grease? That's
Oh, yeah.
the way to do it. Like
I was a massively ambitious squeaky wheel.
it worked for you. So through your career now, though, you've done both on-screen and voiceover work. So have
Yes.
you found one to be your favorite?
At this point, I way prefer voiceover just because I like the range it permits. I like being able to play a whole bunch of different roles. I don't like being limited by my look. And yes, I love being on screen, but I hate memorizing lines. I hate the anxiety that comes with memorization. I like just the pure acting, which I feel like voiceover really is.
That actually makes a lot of sense. I hadn't thought about like voiceover. You have the script in front of you. Like that's
Yeah. Oh my
that's
gosh.
a big thing.
It really is. Like memorization used to just, I would always have that actor nightmare and the fear. And I remember one time a director who, because I would study my lines. Like I ad nauseum would just say it to myself. But then someone could knock me off my game. Like this director came in who thought, you know, I could not be bonked. And he was like, okay, this take you're going to forget all your lines. And I was like, and I did.
Oh, great.
I could be psyched out like that. So, but I never forget how to read. So that can't happen. If it's right in front of me, I can do it.
Right?
Yeah. I'm Ron Burgundy.
Nice reference. All right. So just a side question to her question there. So, you know, because we were joking prior to all of this just about you know, the kids being born into COVID and all that, and I know that affected voiceover actors quite a bit. It affected everybody. But how did you navigate through that? Did you work from home? Did you already have a booth set up at home, or did you build one during that to continue working?
That is a very good question. So most people impacted by COVID, I feel like it was a negative thing. Voiceover actors, I feel like it was very positive, at least for me. I worked from home, and which was great because I have a toddler. He's 3 years old now, and during COVID, when COVID started, he was 1. So it was really nice. I built up I'm in my booth right now. This is a walk-in closet that I just watched YouTube videos and learned how to do all of it. And the people at Disney that I was already working with, the sound engineer, Paul McGrath, really helped me. He was like, here's what you need. You need this kind of microphone. You need this kind of computer. Like, he gave me the list and was like, you can go smaller, you can go big. Here's what I recommend. You do whatever you want. And here I am in my closet.
Very cool.
Are those the curtains from the AMC theaters?
Yeah. You don't have auditions? I'll take your curtains.
You won't be needing those, thank you.
Yunk.
So
Yeah,
we all.
Oh, I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead.
Nick.
No,
No,
go
I
ahead.
was just gonna say that we've talked to a couple other voice actors who, about going and how they got through
Yeah.
the pandemic time, and it's kind of funny to me. So some of them have had stories about. One of my favorites was a gentleman by the name of David Sobolov, who talks about how he built up his home. And Dave is a big guy with a big deep voice, and
Uh-huh.
he had to do a scene where he was killing somebody, and there's a lot of yelling and screaming, and he's like trying to make sure that his neighbors weren't gonna like call the cops on him. And
Yes. Oh my goodness. So I had a scene where I kept screaming. I was doing some video game. I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was Cyberpunk. I can't remember. Some video game I was doing. And I kept screaming over and over, help! Help me! Help me! Nobody came. Like, my family was straight downstairs. They did not hear me, which, props to my voice booth. But no one came to help me. I shouldn't advertise this. Like, someone's going to come murder me. And
Well, we have decided though that a voice acting booth is the perfect place to murder somebody because
Yeah.
you can't hear.
100%.
Yeah, that was with David Sokolov.
that is where you murder someone. I agree. And
yeah,
the thing is, too, even if they do hear you, they're like, oh, yeah, she'll probably start singing in a second, too. So whatever.
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
They're just working; it'll be fine.
Yeah.
So we all have a little something that is close to our hearts. What was a project of yours that was close to your heart that is a little less known?
That is a very good question. And I want to give it some thought without just blurting out something. Okay, so it's not less known.
That's fine.
But the coolest thing I got to do, which I only worked on for like 4 hours, so it feels like a blip in my time in history for me, my personal history. So I did Star Wars Visions, and which is that first season is the Japanese animated the shorts that they did.
Yeah.
And what they did was they wrote, directed, recorded it with Japanese voice artists, and then when they brought it, everything got released at the same time. So at the last second, they had like Americans come in. So I didn't audition for it. I just got a call all of a sudden where they're like, hey, do you want to do it? And I was like, yeah, of course I do. It's Star Wars. And I had no idea. They didn't give me a script. Well, they did give me a script, but it was so confusing. I had no idea what was going on. It was like, because it had already been animated. So it was like this weird script where it just had like translations. So there was not a lot of stage direction. So I had no clue what was happening. The next day, I was in a recording booth in Las Vegas. It was during COVID. It was the only thing I broke isolation for. I went out and I did it for 4 hours. And then I came home. I was like, I'm in Star Wars and I can't tell anybody. And also, you know how it is like, because it's voiceover, I could always be replaced. So
Right.
I didn't count on actually being in it until it dropped on Disney Plus. And I was like, oh, it's really me. That was pretty exciting. My son, who's 3.5, is obsessed with Star Wars. Like, one of his first impressions, he came in with a little blanket over his head and he like did the Emperor.
Oh my goodness.
Nice.
He's like force lightning me, and he can barely say words. But he could act out his different Star Wars characters. So I thought he'd be super excited.
Feel like he and my daughter would be best friends.
Oh, how old is she?
She just turned 4 in September,
Oh,
but she is a massive Star Wars fan.
they will totally get along.
Like, she has her own lightsaber and frequently chases me around the house with it.
I know the feeling.
Oh yeah.
I've actually gotten so bonked with the lightsabers now that I've told him that daddy is for fighting. Like, if you want a lightsaber fight, that is a sport that you do with daddy. With mommy, it's acting. So I hold a blaster, he holds a lightsaber, and I told him we're on the same team. We don't fight each other. I don't like that. I don't like bruises. And he's better than I am, which is really hard to admit. I mean, I'm not athletic, so like, but
Yeah.
a 3.5-year-old being able to beat on you is kind of sad. Yeah.
I'm right there with you though, and I bruise really easily. I'm really pale. Like, I bruise really easily.
She's not pale. She's see-through.
Not that bad. I'm more tan than my brother.
That doesn't take much.
I bruise. It's not that I bruise easily, but things stay on me for a very, very long time. One time I ripped off a Band-Aid and the mark of the Band-Aid stayed there for 8 months. So
Oh wow.
Yikes.
yeah, so like it is a long-term commitment when I get a bruise.
That is impressive.
And my husband
Nice.
is 6'4", and and I'm 5 feet. So when we go out, when I was getting all these bruises, he would get these looks like, "How dare you, sir?" And he's like, "No, it's the little one. The little one did it to her."
And you know the number of times that people don't believe that.
I know.
They don't believe it's the little one.
Well, my little one broke my husband's nose in 2 places, so now my husband has to go get nose surgery.
Oh my goodness.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I went to a doctor's appointment and I had bruises all over my legs, and my doctor's like, "Are you afraid of somebody at home?" I'm like, "Does my daughter count?" I'm
Terrified
like,
of her.
"Those are all from her."
Yeah.
Like
I'm
from her
afraid of
and
my
my
wife,
dog's
but it's
tail.
a whole different story.
You should be afraid of your
That's
wife.
healthy. That's healthy. Every husband should have a little dose
Oh.
of fear.
Oh, there's a healthy fear of my wife. I love her to pieces, but there's a healthy dose of fear.
Yeah.
I'm also a little bit afraid of your wife. I get it.
As well you should be.
But it's more of the she's like mega mom, and I don't want to disappoint her.
I don't think I've ever met her.
She is the most beautiful Sith you'll ever meet. She deals with so many ultimatums. It's not even funny.
Oh my God! The first time I got mad at Dash, he told Jared, my husband, later, and he was like, "Mommy turned into a Sith."
Oh,
I like this kid. I like this kid.
And now, a word from our show sponsor, Level Up Sabers. Their link can be found in the show notes.
All right, Hiromi, every job has its pluses and its minuses, things that are the highs and lows, things that we enjoy. But there's things that challenge us, reward us all at the same time. So whether we're working outside, for a living, you're working behind a desk or whatever it may be.
Sure.
But with your field of acting, what's one challenge that you've had to deal with in your job but makes you want to work harder at it?
Accents. So, for me, I am a practice makes perfect kind of person. I'm not an improviser. I mean, I am an improviser, but I'm not like one of those people who improvises and everything is perfect. I am a studied, rehearse kind of person. So yes, I can do accents off the cuff. Like I could do my mom perfectly because I've rehearsed her my entire life. But you ask me to do anything that else, and I can do it if you give me, time, like an hour, and I can go rehearse it and practice it, or, even 5 minutes if it's short. And that is something that I wish I could do. I was watching, I did this career day with Bill Farmer, the guy who does Goofy. And he is incredible. He can take like the map of UK and he can show you what each level of accent is. He's like that guy from, he's Henry Higgins. He's Henry Higgins. He can
That's cool.
he totally do every accent based on the map. And that is not a skill I have. I would like to, but at this point, I'm in my 40s. Probably not going to happen. I should have done it earlier.
oh my god,
That is a cool ability
that
to
is
have.
a really cool thing.
It's so cool.
I do
So
not
you-
have that ability.
I don't either. I'm terrible at accents, but
I barely have an English accent, so.
I very much have an American accent.
I'll start in one country, but then all of a sudden I'm in another country, and then I'll be in another country, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
they're like, "Wait, weren't you supposed to be doing German?"
But you do
No.
an amazing Gungan.
One of my favorite movies is called I Love You, Man.
Oh, I
And-
love you, man.
Yeah, with Paul Rudd in it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Throughout the whole thing, he's trying to do a Jamaican accent, and he sounds like he's, a leprechaun, and it's just amazing. And I think that that's what I would be like every time I try to do an accent. I start over here, but like Nick said, I end up over here, and so yeah, that's one of the things I think about every time, I try to do an accent is like, I was just Paul Rudd trying to,
You
Yeah.
want to know a trick to doing accents?
sure.
It's so, like, for me at least, it's very difficult to think of, oh, I'm doing England, or even if you narrow it down, oh, I'm doing Liverpool. And if you think of a specific person, not even, oh, I'm doing the Beatles, you think, okay, I am doing John Lennon. And then you listen to that person over and over, although you should pick someone who has someone in your voice tone. So for me, I pick like Emma Watson. Emma Watson?
Okay.
Is that her name? From Hermione?
Mm-hmm.
Emma Watson, yeah. So then I would pick her and I would do it over and over. And it's a lot easier for me to picture what she sounds like.
Or like what Moaning Myrtle sounds like.
Moaning Myrtle.
Easier if you tell me to do Moaning Myrtle. If you tell me Moaning Myrtle, then I can do the accent.
If you tell me just do an English accent, then it's like a little bit overwhelming for me.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. So finding your person who you're in the same voice tone with.
Mm.
Excellent.
So you've actually already mentioned what I wanted to talk about with the next question, but your earliest role on IMDb
Mhm.
is none other than Bill Nye the Science Guy,
Oh, yes.
which is fantastic. And I
I
wanted
love
to
him.
know what it's like to be involved in what has become every early 90s, early 2000s kids' favorite part of science class.
It was very fun. He is an incredible talent. Bill Nye is maybe one of the smartest humans in existence. So I lived in Seattle, and he used to be on the show called Almost Live, which came on right before Saturday Night Live. It was basically the same sort of thing, where they had, it was sketch comedy. And one of the things he did was he would take questions from the audience, science questions, and I believe this is before Bill Nye the Science Guy happened. And then so he would explain it, like, seriously. He would explain the scientific questions and give them answers, but he was funny, so it would be entertaining. And I believe that's how Bill Nye the Science Guy, the show, was born.
Oh,
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. I really loved being on it. It was, I wasn't on that many episodes. I was on maybe half a dozen. But I knew him earlier because I would do all these junkets and stuff for Watch This, the other show that I was on, and I would end up seeing him around town. Like we just ran in the same circles. And he always treated me like an adult. And I was such a little professional that I was like, I am an adult. Bill Nye sees me that way. We are peers, of course.
Oh. You know what's funny is I've probably seen the episodes that you were in at least half a dozen times myself. And like
Really?
totally not even thinking about it with the, oh, yeah, no, she was probably like anytime. I watched Bill Nye a lot. I love Bill Nye.
I cannot remember the episodes I was on. For the only one I do remember is I was dressed up like Charlie Chaplin, and I believe that was for the episode Genetics. And I remember doing a Charlie Chaplin. I don't remember exactly what it had to do with science. I think maybe the jeans were inside of the suitcase. You can tell I learned a lot on the show.
It was also 30 years ago.
Yeah, I know. Good God, it's so true.
But no, I when I was looking through your IMDb and I'm like, oh,
She old.
Bill Nye. And I even saying Bill Nye, my husband's like, Bill. I'm like,
Bill Nye,
I
the
can't
Science Guy.
stop it. It's just ingrained in us.
I know.
Look, any time that, I'm of a certain age that when we wanted to watch TV in class, shut up, Nick. But when we wanted to watch something in class and that TV cart would come rolling in with a giant old monitor.
Yes!
Oh, that
AV
you
Club.
knew that you were about to have the greatest hour of your life because, something cool was going to be played. And my teacher loved Bill Nye, so my science teacher in high school. So, yeah, we saw quite a few episodes. And even if it didn't quite exactly fit in, at least once a week we were watching Bill Nye.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
So-
we did Bill Nye a lot in my it would have been in my 8th grade science class, which was so much fun.
We did Princess Bride in history.
Wait, where did you go to school?
Were you homeschooled?
No, it was actually in
His
high
mom,
school.
the principal,
at
said it
one
was
point.
okay.
I mean, so I say that, and then I'm like, but I also in my animal science class in high school, we watched Monty Python and the Holy Grail,
Oh,
and
amazing.
Tommy Boy.
We got
What?
rabbits and whales.
Oh no. So my animal science teacher was gone. He was sick, and his lesson plan for the 6 weeks he was gone was just watch Planet Earth. Like, he wanted us to watch the BBC
that's cool.
Planet Earth.
Yeah.
But we watched all of it. We were done. We'd watched all of them, and he was still gone. So we went to the science teacher next door. Like, our sub said, hey, go see what he's got. Go see what movie he's got.
And he had Tommy Boy.
And he had Tommy Boy and Monty Python and the Holy Grail. And
Well,
so
that-
we watched those. And when the
I
teacher
love
came
Monty
back,
Python. I mean, the rabbit. The rabbit.
Yes.
That counts.
when
Yeah.
my teacher came back and he's like ripping into us with that was not on the lesson plan. Why would you think you guys got away with that? And I'm like, because the rabbit.
Did you?
I did. And I'm like, and we learned the difference in the airspeed velocity of swallows.
Oh,
Like,
that's
we learned
true.
that there's a difference between the African and the European swallow. And he's like, well, what about Tommy Boy? I'm like, you don't put a deer that you hit in the backseat of your car.
And
Those are
bees.
important life lessons.
And
my
bees.
teacher
Bees.
looks me dead in the eyes and he's like, I'm retiring. I'm like,
That's
future
actually
generation.
really quick for you to come back with the whole African swallow thing. Like, I feel like that's
I went into it and he's like, I'm retiring. I'm done. I quit. I'm done. And he did. He retired that year.
that's really, and you caused it.
He thanked
you
me
go.
at his retirement party for being the, what did he say? Being the cataclysm of the, I don't want to deal with this anymore. One of the other teachers that had gone to the retirement party is like, you have no idea what he said about you. I'm like, oh, do tell.
That's amazing.
Nice.
Well, Romy, we all love stories, as you can tell. What was a funny moment that has happened to you when you were recording or on set?
God, I shouldn't tell this one.
And just for that, yes, you should.
Okay. So, I'm rethinking it even as I'm about to tell you.
Story
There were
time.
6 girls on one of the shows that I did, and we were all in the recording booth. We were all wearing our headsets, all had our microphones, and we were all good friends. And someone tooted, and 5 of us pretended nothing happened. And then one of my good friend Amy just started cracking up. She was like, "Are we really pretending she didn't just do this?" And the other ones of us were like, "Yeah, we were going to, but now we can't because you just said it out loud." And it was just one of those moments where I was like, the politeness of my friends really struck me. And then and I was not the one who either tooted or called the other person on it. I was an innocent bystander.
Innocent by sniffer.
Yeah.
Could have just
Nice.
been like, there's something wrong with the ventilation system.
Right.
That would be really hard in a booth though, with the I'm gonna pretend that I'm.
Yeah, we were all just really straight-faced, looking in any direction, looking at our phones, just not going to. And the girl who tooted, she started laughing because she's not really a shy person. She was like, I was going to try to get away with it. I think she has brothers.
Nice.
Oh,
I approve.
I do not save that. I don't know if I've ever told that story on camera. I really could not. I was fishing for something else, as you asked. I'm like, anything.
Great story though.
Even better, though. All right. And now a word from our sponsor. Since 1982, Vital Signs and Graphics has been helping professionals with all their image, logo, and design needs. Perhaps you're looking for signs and banners, truck and trailer lettering, business cards, brochures, or other image and marketing aids. Vital Signs and Graphics in-house design studio has you covered. From logos to apparel, start to finish, Vital Signs and Graphics has everything you need to look and feel professional. Call Rick at 231-652-3300. He'll get you noticed. Welcome back to the FSF PopCast. Okay. So your bio in most places that I've found lists your ethnicity as half Japanese
Mhm.
and half Muppet.
Yes.
So my question is, can you introduce me to Fozzie Bear?
Waka waka.
Or if it's a different Muppet that you're related to. It's okay if it's a Swedish chef.
I mean,
like him
look. Isn't this so the Muppet Show closet?
It is.
I keep waiting for it to part.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. So, okay, so serious side of this. So
I love the Muppets. Seriously, I love the Muppets.
I was
My
assuming
whole
so.
long-term con is to get famous enough that I can be on Sesame Street and just hang out with any Muppets. I mean, I'm not even trying to get on to another Muppet Show movie. I would be thrilled to hang out with Abacadabra, Elmo, those dudes.
I just thought it would be really cool to do a Muppets Mulan, and then you can play Mulan.
Oh, that would be great. That would be great.
We have.
I think I would rather do Lilo and Stitch and be Stitch.
Oh, that would be fun too.
I'm more
There
of
you
a
go.
wild creature. I might rather be the raccoon. That's the word I'm looking for.
There you go.
I love it. We have.
Now I have
we
to know
have-
who's your favorite Muppet.
Oh, Miss Piggy.
Excellent. Okay.
Okay, but here's the thing. Miss Piggy is my favorite Muppet. Like, she's my style icon Muppet. If you want to know who I want to hang out with, it would be Rolf. I just feel
Nice.
like he's very chill. His vibe is he's not going to stress me out. I would hang out with Rolf and Janice. And
Okay.
I would be massively excited to hang out with Kermit, but he's a really busy guy. Miss Piggy would stress me out. I like watching her on television. I do not want her as my friend.
No,
You're right.
I don't.
Yeah.
I could not handle that much high maintenance.
Yeah,
very high
it's a
maintenance.
lot. And she's jealous of other females, and
Right.
I'm not a competitive person.
I feel
Gotcha.
like on like my crazy days, I'd want to hang out with Animal, but like on my
yes.
cynical days, I would want to just be like with Sam the Eagle, like just being in the corner, being bitter and angry, and drinking tea and mocking people. Like
Talking about how weird everyone is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Animal's the guy you take to get your frustrations out.
right. Like on
I
a
love
good
Animal.
day, I would be like, "Hey, let's go cause chaos and run off." And then there would be the days where I would be with Sam the Eagle sitting in Starbucks just talking about people.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
See, my favorite
no,
two
I-
were in my question: Fozzie Bear and the Swedish Chef.
Oh,
So,
I love them. Swedish Chef is
Pretty-
always
pretty-
the
pretty-
funniest to
pretty.
watch.
I also really like Bunsen and Beaker.
Oh, they used to freak me out.
I did do a lip sync when I first got my mustache. I put some googly eyes up under my nose, and I did the lip sync of Swedish Chef rapping in that
video still
the
somewhere?
Muppets office. Yeah, it's on my YouTube.
What did?
hold on, you have your own separate YouTube channel?
I only have like
oh.
one or two videos on there.
No,
but-
that's not the point. I didn't know that there was one to be found. I'll be right back. Hold on.
Note to self.
Exactly. Ah, Yeah. all right. I have some homework to do tonight. All right.
So, Hiromi, you are currently involved in one of the FSF crew's favorite cartoons, Hamster and Gretel.
Are you guys watching it?
We
Yes.
love it.
Yay!
Love it. We've
Oh.
actually had Dan Povenmire, Josh Pruitt, and Amber Turnquist-Hollinger all on the show already.
Nice.
They all hyped the show pre-release, and there were things that they couldn't talk about yet. And then when it dropped, and it was this is the best thing since Phineas and Ferb, which is sad because I also really liked Milo Murphy's Law. But I feel like Hamster and Gretel has beat out Milo Murphy's Law.
Ooh.
I know.
That's a
I
great
know.
show.
It is fantastic. And I think especially because of my daughter. My daughter's 4 and has a hamster.
Oh.
So she and Gretel are like, they have almost become one person.
Oh, that's so
Simpatico.
cute. That's
It
amazing.
is so fantastic. So how did your role as Hiromi come about? And do you think that there's a future for her and Kevin?
Okay. So, Hiromi originally had a different name. And she wasn't named after me. They actually named her Hiromi, and I knew Dan, the creator of the show, before Hamster and Gretel. I worked with him on Phineas and Ferb and Milo Murphy's Law, and I think he probably, when I met him, I was going by, I can't remember if I was going by Hiromi. I think I was already going by Romy. So I don't actually know if he even knew my name was Hiromi, or if he did, I don't know if he remembered. And so when I saw the audition for the role, I was like, oh, you mean I'm not going straight to callback for the role of Hiromi on my friend's show? What? And then, of course, I was very honored to audition. And then, so I auditioned, and it was like the fastest audition ever. They're like, we're gonna audition you really quick. Okay, line one. Okay, 3. Okay, let's do that one more time. Okay, that was good. All right, let's get you out of here because I know you have a record for Monsters at work. And I was like, okay, but I'm a perfectionist. I would like to. Is there anything else you would like? And they're like, nope, that's good. And so my feeling was like, oh, Dan remembered my name is Hiromi and feels embarrassed and has to like give me a sympathy audition. And then like a month later he calls me and he's like, so I have something to tell you. And I was like, oh, Dan, it's okay, you don't have to give me the role. I'm honored that my namesake is out there. And he's like, no, you got this role. This is you got it. And I was like, wait, what? Really? I was so prepared for him to let me down that I had this whole like speech about how he didn't have to worry. I was going to watch the show. I was thrilled for him.
She's
Nice.
such a fun character too, and I love the relationship between her and Kevin. It's
Oh
like,
my gosh, I do
they're
too.
so cute.
So I know nothing. Like I know only like a little bit more than you guys do. So I don't know if they're getting together. But I mean, I gotta imagine, right? I mean, so let's take Phineas and Ferb as the example. I would be the Jeremy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Hiromi would be the Jeremy to Kevin's
Candace.
Candace. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I gotta imagine we'll get together, but I guess I don't know. There could be someone else who comes along. Oh, I mean, if I do something horribly embarrassing to Disney off season, like talk about people tooting, then Hiromi's out, and they write one quick episode about how I became a supervillain, and we can
Hiromi's
be
suddenly
together.
dating Lyle instead.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
I was joking with my husband. I was like, the only reason they gave me this role is because, how type has to play type now. And I was like, only Hiromis are allowed to play Hiromi, and anyone else I would have thrown a fit. We would have had this whole online rage. Like, really? You're letting this girl named, I don't know, some other
Becky.
Japanese name. Miki. Well, let's even go with a Japanese girl. Like,
Oh, okay.
Miki-chan. Really? You're letting a Miki-chan play someone named Hiromi? Do you think she knows what it feels like to be a Hiromi? Because I don't. All the Hiromis of the world unite.
I love the use of names in the show. Like because Hiromi is not a name you hear every day.
No,
Kevin is
not
such
even
a
in Japan.
Kevin name though. Like I know two people named Kevin, and a friend of mine had a dog named Kevin. But like that's like it. Gretel is not a name that gets used for kids anymore.
That's true. And Hiromi is definitely not. Hiromi is so unusual that like one time I signed up for 24-hour fitness, and while I was doing my trial run, they handed me the schedule, and I had told them I was interested in doing yoga as one of the classes. And I saw like 2 of the yoga classes, my name was under it. It said Hiromi. And I was like, oh, I guess they signed me up because I said I was interested in yoga. I get there. The teacher's name was Hiromi, and I was like, oh, that makes more sense.
That's cool. That's cool. I had to laugh so hard though when I first started watching Hamster and Gretel, because their cousin's name is Fred.
Oh, yeah.
My older brother's name is Fred, and I'm like, but it's a girl Fred. And then when the evil twins showed up,
Mm-hmm.
and the guy's name is Lyle, and I'm like, that's my daddy's name.
How funny. Did you also know the creator? And
I mean, I talked to him before the show actually dropped, but I think all of the characters were already named at that point.
you don't think he went on to your ancestry.com?
I don't think so.
Yeah. This is
No.
all an elaborate prank on you.
But it's so funny.
And
Is like,
me.
there is that part
That'd
of
be a
me
really
that's
cool
like,
one.
my dad was a huge Phineas and Ferb fan. My dad died in 2020.
I'm
He
sorry.
would love that he was
That he had a Lyle.
that his name isn't there.
Yeah.
I'm like, he would love that. He would think that was so cool. But
You know, I'm with your dad. Huge Phineas and Ferb fan. I watched every single episode.
mhm.
And I don't do that for any show I'm on. Like, there are shows that I am on every single episode of that I have not seen. Phineas and Ferb was one of those I watched it because I was on it. And then I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good.
Oh,
I
yeah.
devoured
It
it.
is a fantastic show.
Oh, so good.
And like,
I
I watched it. Sorry, I watched it because it was fun. And then I was
Yeah.
babysitting. So the kid I was babysitting was watching it. And now it's on Disney Plus. It's one of the ones that my daughter's like, can we watch Phineas and Ferb? I'm like, yes.
Nice.
100% yes.
Yeah, I
You
started
know they
watching
have the
it
Star
because
Wars
of my
episode.
kids. Oh,
Did
yes.
you? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We talked with Dan about that because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Don't know if you're picking up on any of that. But
I see the pop figures, but I can't tell what they are.
90% of them are Star Wars.
Oh, yep. I see Ahsoka Tano next to R2D2, and I see C3PO up there. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and so we had an opportunity to talk to him about that and the difference between having the Marvel episode and the Star Wars episode and what that was like and how easy it was to get the Star Wars stuff. And he was like, the Star Wars stuff. And they're like, oh yeah, just go ahead and go do it. Yeah, that's fine. And Marvel was like, you can only have this person on screen for this long, and he can't say this word and he can't do that. And so there's all these
Really?
limitations for Marvel, but for Star Wars, it was pretty much like, yeah, go ahead and have fun.
Mhm.
So
Is
He
that
also
because-
accidentally. Go ahead.
Was it George Lucas was still in charge of Star Wars at that point? Disney hadn't acquired it yet?
no, I believe it was a Disney acquisition, but because
Really?
But with Marvel, there, some characters at that point were still owned by Fox and then by Sony, and
Got
so
it.
Marvel didn't, you could, but Marvel had rights to use these characters, but only in certain scenes and for only so long on camera,
Got
and
it.
all these different things. So there was all these different legality issues
Oh, wow.
tied to
That's
it. But
interesting.
We
I
actually
find
just
all of
watched-
that fascinating.
My daughter actually just watched the Marvel episode a couple days ago. She was watching it on a tablet, and I walked by and I'm like, oh, are you watching Superhero Squad? And she's like, Mom, it's Phineas and Ferb. I'm like, I'm sorry, I just saw a flash of superhero and thought it was Superhero Squad.
I'm getting all the corrections too, where my kid is correcting me.
Mm-hmm.
No, that is not Anakin Skywalker, Mom. That is young Obi-Wan. He has these like two action figures that look exactly the same. They both have the little rat tail and they're wearing the same outfit. I'm like, well, then they just clearly reissued the same toy and maybe put a little different paint on it because that is Anakin Skywalker.
yeah, it doesn't
I was
stop
wrong.
as they get older. So you know.
No, and it's like the 3.5
worse.
to 4. Like everybody warns you, the terrible twos are the worst, and terrible twos are this, and the terrible 4.
Really?
4-year-olds are the worst. They are so mean. They are so mean.
Yeah,
is
just wait till they're
hilarious.
15. Then we'll talk.
Oh,
See, but
yeah.
at least at 15, when they say, hey, I can do this myself, they actually can.
Yeah.
Like, I sure, you can do that yourself, except for the fact that you are 3 feet tall, and that is 6 feet off the ground.
Right?
So there's that.
Anytime I want to do anything, I just have to know that, like say right now, we're having a Zoom interview. I know my downstairs is being destroyed right now. I'm going to come downstairs. There's going to be Legos everywhere. He's going to have taken his little plastic golf club and beaten the crap out of everything. There's going to be pillow. Oh,
Sounds about right. Yeah.
tired.
So, Romy, let's say
Yes.
2 of your characters had a Star Trek level transporter malfunction making their own Tuvix. Which 2 characters would you clash together and what would they sound like?
Well, I mean, one of them has to be Tracy.
Okay, I got it. It would be Tracy Van Horn, but then she would have the accent of Wayahime. So that would be a Japanese Tracy.
Oh, you know what? They probably have a Japanese voiceover actress superimposed over me. Not superimposed, ADR'd over me, huh? I should
Distinct
listen to that.
possibility, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, never mind. I guess I'm ripping off someone else's character.
It's borrowing. It's repurposing. It's okay.
I love it.
Ripping off somebody
All right.
else's character.
All right, Hiromi, we're at a stage in our show where we like to take our guests through a little bit of a quiz.
Mm.
All right, so this is 4 questions long. Each question is multiple choice.
Okay.
All right, if you get 3 of the 4 questions correct, we would like to send you this book right here, which is called Custodians of the Cosmos, which is written about a young man who wanted to join something quite like Starfleet, but, not Starfleet, legal reasons and all. But
yes.
anyway, but he tried joining Starfleet, washed out, rejoined as a custodian to boldly clean up after those who had boldly just went. So,
and is this written by one of you three that I'm speaking with?
No, actually, it's
Actually,
written
my
by
dad.
Your
Nick's
dad.
dad. Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. It's a cool little story, and that's where we get the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund from, which is actually tied to a real charity, which is called Wish Upon a Teen, which is the charity here in Michigan that helped out my daughter during her extended hospital stay. So it's a great
that's
charity.
wonderful.
Yeah, great charity. So anyway, if you get 3 questions right, we'll send you the book.
Okay.
If you get 2 questions correct and only or less, we take your picture, we make a meme out of you, and we put you into our 207,000 member Facebook group as a meme. We call it our fun sequence.
I love it.
So, 4 questions.
Dan Povenmire made it.
Yeah, we have.
As a
Yeah,
meme.
yeah, Dan's.
Oh, did he?
Dan's
Dan
definitely-
wasn't able to answer the 4 questions. There's no way I'm going to be able to. Dan's like a genius.
I don't even remember what Dan's quiz was about.
Like
but
legit genius.
yeah. Goodness, I don't remember. Do you guys remember what Dan's? No, that was so long ago.
You might as well go ahead and make
Yeah.
up my meme because there is no way that I am getting 4 questions.
All
Go
right.
ahead. Go ahead. Shoot.
Question
shoot,
1.
Shoot. Uh-huh.
Which Muppet is the only one that utilizes actual human hands? Is it A, Swedish Chef,
Swedish Chef.
Animal, or Big Bird?
Swedish
You are
Chef.
correct. Although doesn't Ralph use human hands to play
Yeah,
the
but he
piano?
has fur over it.
You actually see the hands of the Swedish Chef.
Okay, I guess.
So we quizzed Dan Povenmire on Phineas and Ferb.
Was that it? Was that it? I don't remember.
I pulled up the old document. We quizzed him on Phineas and Ferb.
And he
That's
didn't get them
fantastic.
all? That's hilarious.
That's fantastic. I forgot what we had quizzed him about. That makes me even happier.
Yay, Google Drive. I found it. Oh, goodness. All right. So, yes, you got question number 1. Question number 2. The Muppet Show skit that featured an astronaut, Miss Piggy, was called what?
Pigs in space.
That is correct.
Nice.
Although the adventures of the Pigonaut is just too much fun to say. Thank you for that, Tim.
You're welcome.
That is. Yeah. I should let you give me my multiple choices.
Oh, but no, I understand no, I know this.
Yeah.
Everyone remembers lab assistant Beaker. But what was the name of the head scientist at Muppet Labs?
Well, you gave me the answer to that like 20 minutes ago. Go ahead.
Was it Dr. Bill, Dr. Bruno Van Hunsen, or Dr. Bunsen Honeydew?
Dr. Bunsen Honeydew.
We gave you the answer?
I
Yeah, we
did.
talked about Bunsen and Meeker.
I did.
Oh,
Because I love them.
Nick, quiz question. What do we talk about on this episode of FSF Podcast?
Oh, that's adorable that you think that he can remember. We have a Facebook chat going in Messenger, and we will literally say something, and 30 seconds later, he will ask what we're talking about. We're like, scroll up, buddy. Just
The
scroll
number
up.
of times that I've just like scrolled up, taken a screenshot, and posted the screenshot into the group with the really?
The Seth and Amy. Really?
Yes.
So
I know what it
that's-
is. Nick's doing his hair. He's like, how do I look on camera?
Right?
Yeah.
I can't pay attention to this. I must make sure my mustache is even.
Exactly.
All
So
right.
that's 3. That gets you the book.
That is. And question number 4. The extra Muppets that aren't identified by name but
Mhm.
populate the background are known as what? A. Whatnots. B. Unsungs. Or C. Understudies.
Huh. I don't know. I would have to guess. I mean,
Yay.
I love the thought that they're all understudies, but they're really characters. I mean, they're okay. So it's Whatnots, and then what's B?
Unsungs.
Unsongs. Well, they do a lot of singing, so I feel like all those penguins, they still sing. They don't have names. I'm gonna go with A because I just feel like I feel like it's got to be Whatnots.
That is a very Muppet term, and you are correct.
I'm a genius, you guys. I did not know this. Did you all know that? We should call Mensa.
You have aced the Muppet quiz.
Yeah, I guess it's just about Muppets. We should call Jim Henson. Well, yeah, we'd have to do a seance, but still. Call one of those Hensons.
Well, Hiromi, thank you so much for being on the show today. Where can our listeners go to find out more about you and your works?
Well, Nick, they could go to IMDb, I suppose, but I don't want to send them there. I want to send them something of mine. Twitter? You want to come to Twitter? Does anyone go to Twitter anymore? I'm at the Hiromi Dames. I just started TikToking with all the kids. I don't know what my TikTok name is. Let me look. I answered questions about Muppets, and I don't even know what my own TikTok name is. Nick, I'm failing. I'm failing, Nick. Help me. Swipe up to skip. Let me see. Oh, I'm at Hiromi Dames. That is like the easiest thing, and I didn't know it. At Hiromi Dames. Just my name.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm
Glad
hoping
that wasn't my quiz question. I would not have won the book.
I am hoping that on your TikTok that there will be you going through a Starbucks as Tracy. That would just be fantastic.
I get really nervous about, like, if people don't ask me to do it, or even, if they don't ask me, I am, like, super weird about doing it, or at least I used to be a lot weirder about it. Like, I remember this guy came up to me in a restaurant, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, I loved your character. I loved Hannah Montana." And then as I was about to leave the restaurant, I was going to walk up to him and go, "Ciao." But then at the last second, I chickened out, and I just couldn't do it. And my husband's like, "What's the matter with you?" And I was like, "I don't know. I don't know." I got shy.
It is weird, though, because you're like suddenly on the spot with you. Wait, do I do this or don't I do this?
Yeah. And I try to do it now because I think, like, what would I like as a fan? Like, if, any of the people I watch on television, I would want them to do their thing. So.
All right. Well, we will definitely make sure to link your socials, your Twitter, and especially your TikTok, because I feel like that is going to be comedy gold.
I've enjoyed it so far.
Yay. Thank you, guys. This was lots of fun.
Thank you.
I hope I didn't traumatize anybody with anything. Toots. Good God.
You can't traumatize us.
Who lets me out?
Just something else for me to talk to my therapist about. It'll be okay.
Yeah.
But we want to take a second to remind everybody that subscribing is the single most important thing you can do to continue to help our show grow and get amazing guests like Hiromi Dames here today to have these great conversations and things for you guys to laugh about. So please subscribe. It helps out more than we can ever really tell you. And make sure that you go click all the links that we put down below for Hiromi's stuff. You're going to want to be able to appreciate her work as well. But for whatever reason, if you are not happy with the content of our show today, please feel free to lodge a complaint with the head of our complaint department. That, of course, is Lena Luthor. Sure, Lena is trying to set things right that her brother Lex had done wrong. She's got some guilt there. But we have to remember that Lena still has all those connections, LexCorp and all, if you know what I mean. So turn in 2 copies of your completed complaint form to the most high-profile adopted sister in the world has ever seen, and Lena will make sure that the offending parties are, of course, dealt with in a timely manner. Sure, we hope that Lena will be the only Luthor involved in meting out of podcasting justice, but Lex is always waiting in the wings, and if Lena is distracted even for a moment, one of us will have a nice new pair of concrete boots. So be kind when reporting. We prefer Nikes over cement when it comes to footwear.
Well, thanks again, Hiromi.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. We really enjoyed it. Thank you for your time.
Of course. Thank you.
All right, guys, that's going to conclude us for the FSF PopCast. Goodbye.
Bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.
On behalf of the rest of the hosts of the FSF PopCast, we want to thank you for listening to this episode. If you'd like to be a guest on a future episode, please contact us by means of Twitter or Instagram using the handle @FSF PopCast. Or go to www.fsfpopcast.com and click on the Contact Me link. Thanks again, and hope you enjoyed the episode.